Coming up on today's show, we have a member that just got back from the Tron preview, and we have the latest news as well as a preview of another Disney trip. That's today on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome everyone to Traveling with the Mouse. This is episode 396 of Traveling with the Mouse. I am your host this week. I am Jason. I am joined, as always, by two esteemed podcast co-hosts. First, we have Adam.
What's up, everybody?
How are you doing this fine day, Adam?
Fantabulous.
We're going to get to you a little bit later, but you have a trip report to tell us all about, a whirlwind trip to check out Tron. Can't wait to hear all about it.
Yeah.
And
it was fun.
Not seeing Tron this past weekend is John.
If you are a user, then everything you've done has been according to plan, to a plan.
Is that Tron?
Well, I figured, yes, it was involved in Tron, yes. The original Tron.
Yeah,
Tron actually said it. Yeah, it says if you are a user, then everything you have done has been according to a plan. So, Adam, you are a user now.
I am.
Because you've been on Tron. You've been used. It's been all according to plan.
Okay. Well, maybe we start there, but rather than go into the news. Why don't we get that preview a little bit out of the way? I'm very interested to hear. You had a whirlwind trip, Adam.
Literally.
Before we go into the full trip, let's start with the main attraction, which is Tron, which I know you went down for essentially one full day. So it was a whirlwind trip. And this was at the end of a very full day that we can maybe talk about. I think you had like a 6 p.m.-ish reservation for Tron. Tell us all about the process, what you were able to do. And I heard you could only ride once. So tell us about that.
Yeah, they did not allow anybody to ride more than once. We got there to Magic Kingdom around 5:30. We walked over to Tomorrowland and saw a very long line that was like, oh, that must be the preview line, extending all the way around the Speedway area from kind of the entrance to where you go into Tron. And there was a cast member walking the line, like asking, like, are you a 5:30 or are you a 6? And so we said 6. They said stay in this line. If you were a 5, I guess, they made you go up to the front to hurry up and get in because you should have already been in. And there was a few that were there for a 7 already, and they made them go to the back of the line because they wouldn't let us in until a few minutes before 6. But then we walked through. They just scanned our bands real quick, easy peasy, walked on in to the area. And then, of course, we had to check my youngest son's height. He was too short. So by literally his hair was touching the bottom, but it wasn't enough. They were like, his head needs to be touching the
That's
bottom.
The way it was with Livy last time when we tried to do Dinosaur.
So what is the height requirement?
48. It's the same as Rock and Roller Coaster.
Rockin', yeah.
Which is the highest height requirement at Disney, Rockin' and Tron. And they said the only reason, it's that is because of the leg restraints for someone that small would not, like it wouldn't close all the way and then the back restraint wouldn't go down far enough. And so
they're just doing to make sure it's safe.
And
that's the main thing.
You have to reach pretty far to get to the handlebars. For someone that short, I would think, it might be a little tough to reach the handlebars too. So yeah, I wasn't disappointed because I'm like, I don't know if he's ready for this anyway. So it was kind of like good. But then we set up the rider switch and then we got in line. It was kind of a long line. I think we waited probably 20 minutes though. There was a lot of people, I should say. But once you got in the building, it was like super quick. It was one hallway. The weird thing though is once you get in the queue, you go down this hallway and it's just a closed door. And you're like, did we go down the wrong way or something? And then the door just opens and then you go into the pre-show room, kind of, if you want to call it that.
Was the theming inside the queue any good or pretty generic?
It was good. Like, I liked it. The first part of the queue is like a kind of a hallway with just some neon lights. But then once you go through that door, you have the frosted glass thing that kind of comes clear after, you get transported or whatever. and that was nice. And then you go where the lockers are, and that's a really cool looking area. Since we were doing rider switch, I left my bags, so I didn't use the locker. So we were able to skip some of the line there. And I rode back row. So once we got to the loading area, it felt a lot like Guardians. The loading area is very similar to Guardians. The two sides and everything. It felt a lot like that. But we were back row, and the cast member had to like hold us off to the side to make sure that the train that was coming in wasn't the one that had the regular seats in the back.
Right.
So she was like, hold on a minute, I gotta see what the next train looks like. And so once she saw the train, she was like, okay, you can come on in. So we're back row. The handlebars are, my wife mentioned this too, the handlebars were a little rough on the hands for her. So, because they're like, you've got to grip it, but if you grip it tightly, it might hurt your hands a little bit. She mentioned that. But I thought it was cool. You're definitely in a weird position. You're much lower than Flight of Passage, I would say. That launch is super fast, which is not, I mean, it's gradual, but I don't think it launches as fast as Rock and Roller Coaster, but you end up going faster than Rock and Roller Coaster. The outdoor part is definitely my favorite. It was the best. The indoor part is kind of like Guardians / Space Mountain, but way smoother than Space Mountain. So, and then it's over before you even can blink, but it's good. Right.
Unlike
or Guardians, which, should I drumroll reveal my choice? Yeah. Big shock. Oh, well, that was loud. Guardians is still better. Way better. But this one's good. Like, I would ride this every time I go to Magic Kingdom, though, if I could.
Yeah. It's been getting a reputation, though, of being not very, I mean, like, it's not, like, people, like, Disney fans are not that impressed, apparently, so far with it overall. I got to be honest, I really think that the average Disney fan is getting harder to impress is the problem.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know what it is.
I mean, I was more impressed with the outdoor area around it, like the lighting effects, and you get a really cool view of the castle. And I chose sunset on purpose. That's 6 to 7, so you could see the sunset behind the castle. And I got a pretty cool picture of it on our Instagram, if you want to see it, of the sunset.
Yeah, you took some pretty good shots.
You get some really cool views from over there. And I'm impressed. The music gets on my nerves a little bit because I'm not a big fan of the Tron music. And it's like constantly like loud and blaring. But the area is really cool.
Does it remind you of the old test track music?
Yes, it's very repetitive, and it's very like, okay, I've heard this music a lot now. I'm kind of like over it. But
well, I'm glad to see you survived the light cycles because glad to see you didn't get smashed into a million pieces. So
yeah, the orange one got smashed at the end.
Team Blue always wins in this one.
Yes, looks like that.
So, question.
Yeah.
Is it the best coaster in Magic Kingdom?
I think he's going to go.
That's a tough one. Because I love Big Thunder.
I think he's leaning no, though. I can see the look on his face.
It's tough because I think here's the difference. I would ride Big Thunder every time I'm at Magic Kingdom, and it's easy to ride that one. Like, Tron is going to be harder to ride for at least the first year, right? The boarding group thing will be easy if it's like that, but I'm not going to pay, $20 every time I go to get a lightning lane for this. It's not worth that.
Says the guy that's paid for Mine Train how many times?
Twice. I paid for it twice. Yeah, it's not because I want to ride. It's other people want it.
I just had to throw that at you.
Yes. Mine Train, Barnstormer, Space Mountain, Big Thunder, and now Tron. Tron is probably number 2. I would still say Big Thunder is my favorite. That's just what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because Tron is so different. It's very unique. It's a weird seating. It's pretty uncomfortable, honestly. I wasn't super comfortable, but it's only a minute ride, so you get over that.
Tron and Rocket.
No, that's tougher because
they're more similar.
They're very similar. I think in the short term, I would say Tron, just because it's so unique and it's smoother, believe it or not, than But I might switch back to Rock and Roller Coaster in another, after this refurb, we'll see. But
Yeah, I think they intended, and I read this somewhere, before they took 1,000,000 years to build this thing, they wanted Tron to come out before Guardians because Guardians is better. And they didn't, this is the wrong order for them.
Yes. Yeah, and I was talking to a cast member about this, and she basically said the same thing. It's like Guardians stole the thunder from Tron because it's so much.
Tron's a copycat, and Guardians is an original. Yeah.
It's very unique too. It's more unique than Tron, I would say.
Of the newer and planned attractions for the 50th, even though they didn't end up coming out on the 50th, the Guardians was the one I was looking forward to the most, and I think it was the best of all the things they released. So.
Guardians is the best ride they've done since Flight of Passage, probably.
Well, see, it's funny you should say that because you're talking all new concepts that you think are better. So, and there you go.
Rise of the Resistance is in that mix too. It's like I love Rise of the Resistance, but once you've done it a few times, it's like it's another trackless ride, right? I mean,
I think
very unique, but
I think the level of difficulty to get Rise or how long you have to wait for Rise probably negates the value. I'm just talking about for the average population.
I think, to me, if Rise was reliable, right? You know, like
it's part of
like
too. Yeah.
If it was reliable, and I would probably say it's a little bit better because it's better than a lot of dark rides. But in general, I'm probably going to beeline over to Mickey and Minnie's more often than Rise because it's reliable. It's not that long of a wait, and I think it's enjoyable. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's got more rewritability in some ways, just because of that.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff you get to see. You could potentially see something new almost every time.
Yeah, I found a new hidden Mickey. Well, I wouldn't say new, but a hidden Mickey I hadn't seen before.
Well, yeah. I mean, somebody has probably explored the whole thing, but I'm talking about if you haven't paid attention to that, you personally could see something different just about every time. Whereas with Rise, the thing you're looking for is, hey, is this first gun ever going to work? Or
none of the guns work anymore, I don't think.
It doesn't seem to be. Like, it didn't take long for there to be something that like never works anymore,
right?
For it to become I guess we'll call it the Brer Rabbit disease or whatever we want to call it,
or the disco laser cannon.
Yeti, I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, were you talking about rocking earlier? You know how I don't think we mentioned this on last week's show about the rumor about Queen, which turned out to be not true. It seems.
Yes. Right.
And I made that joke about the Disco Freddy.
Yes.
So
anyway,
since we spoke about Rise, I'll mention this since I wasn't here for the last couple of weeks. I had a friend of mine who went and ran the half marathon, and they went down, and her husband into Star Wars, and they went to Star Wars Land specifically. That's the only park they went to was to do Galaxy's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, they did Smuggler's Run, and then they did the standby for Rise and waited 2.5 hours.
Oof.
Got to the front and it broke down.
2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. Broke down, and they received a lightning lane to return.
Yeah.
Upon returning, they went through the lightning lane, got to the front of the line, and it broke down again. And then it did not reopen the rest of the day.
See, that's what's the issue is with Rise. Why people don't put it higher on their list, I think, is because so many disappointing.
Yeah, I received a text from her saying, "I know this is your favorite place, and I'm sorry, but Disney is a scam."
Well, when you have that kind of experience, how do you blame somebody for thinking that? I mean, I would never stand in that standby line because I know it's going to break down. 2 hours, it's going to break down at some point in those 2 hours.
Yeah.
Chances are.
I was pretty disappointed whenever I went in 2020 and was unable to get a boarding group. And that was the only way to get on.
Yeah.
While I was there.
And it seems like the boarding group situation has gotten better since then. Like Guardians has like 3 chances at it. Whereas at first, Rise, it was once, and that was it.
Well, that's because it breaks down. At least Guardians works most of the time.
That's true, too. It's easier. That's a good point.
You got your attractions like Test Track and Rise that are great when they work. But the fact that they have such issues it really affects people's opinion of them, right? I mean, it really does.
I mean, if you wait,
it all depends on the experience you got. If you just happen to get there and didn't have a long wait or got a good boarding group and managed to have, get a good experience, you're going to think it's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, but then you got the other 80% or whatever population that didn't get that experience.
And that's the thing is I would never do the standby for rides most likely unless it's like super short. I mean, the only way I'm riding it now is I'm paying and I'm not going to pay. Yeah, that often.
It's not right.
I mean, I think I've mentioned this to you before, Adam, like the queue though, like the regular queue is really not, it's not as detailed as I would have liked. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. The queue was, they ran out of budget, it seems like, and they just made a queue, caves, and they threw a few weapons in the thing. I mean, that was it.
I guess I could approach it from the perspective that they were trying to go for, this is a secret. You shouldn't really be seeing much stuff. Maybe they were trying to keep it that realistic, but if you're waiting a long time in line, you're going to want to have more things to interact with or to actually see that look cool. That's just my thing. Well,
is the last, and I haven't, honestly, last time I rode it was like last July, so it's been that long since I've ridden it because I'm not going to pay or stand in line that often. But they used to have the queue like all the way behind Muppets, right? Are they still doing that, or
I don't know.
Is it short enough now where it doesn't have to be?
The time that I did stand by, that's where it went.
Yeah. So it's like that ruins the illusion already, right?
Yeah.
So that leads me to a good question.
Yeah.
Supposedly the Guardians virtual queue is going away, right?
Yeah.
With Tron opening.
I know.
So when we see the Guardians virtual queue today, I've been in the virtual queue that backs all the way up to where you enter. And from there to the front of the line is like 30, 45 minutes, right, to the pre-show. Yeah. So when they go to standby, there's going to be a longer line. Where's it going to go?
They're probably going to stretch it on that outside courtyard area, like to the left.
It may not be as long as you think. And
there's a Joffrey's there, right?
Yeah, all the way back. I mean,
what I was about to say, though, is it may not be as long as you think because so far Guardians has been very reliable, right? So I don't think they're going to have that issue. That's probably the biggest issue as to why Rise has longer waits.
Think about Big Thunder, which has dual loading tracks, is a high-capacity, reliable coaster. Yeah. And on busy days, they fill up that whole upstairs queue, down the back, all the way into the train station. And it's only like 90 minutes, I think, is like the worst you can ever get on Big Thunder. Even if it's fully filled up, it probably takes an hour.
Right.
But that's a lot of space of people. And Guardians, where are they going to put the people? Is there like a hidden room they haven't opened up yet with more queue?
It's possible.
I guess we'll see.
Or they'll try to fill. I mean, I've only seen that once you get out of that super long set of pre-shows, I've only seen that area filled up like once, where it was like you only walked a few feet and turned the corner and then you were in line. Maybe they're going to try to fill that line area up more.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, because there's probably a significant number of people that just simply don't want to pay if they had to, that are going to start like probably ride this ride for the first time when the regular queue is open.
Maybe they'll lower the price for the individual a little bit and get more people to buy. By the way, I did Guardians that morning, so I rode Guardians and Tron the same day, and I got to see B mode on the pre-show.
Oh,
so it wasn't working that week I was there.
Yeah, because somebody got hurt, right? Somebody got hurt.
Sure.
I thought I heard something about a guest didn't listen and like touched it as it was going up and it hurt them because they didn't listen to the cast member.
So
I can't imagine.
When I was there in December, somebody kept trying to touch the wall and the cast member yelled at him like, "Don't nobody touch any, whatever." And the guy didn't, but it's just a matter of time before people try to do that. And of course, so who knows, that pre-show may have to change because people are idiots.
That's a great illusion, and if the average idiot ruins this for me, I'm going to be really upset. I'm just saying.
The other thing that, more people ride this ride, everyone piles up to the right side. The people who have done it many times.
Because they know what.
Right, because they know
what's
you're
what.
going to be waiting in a much longer line if you don't. And so
that much
people,
longer.
I mean, you can have like 50, 60 people in front of you.
It's not worth it. Let's put it that way.
The first time I rode it, I was all the way on the far left because I didn't know where the door was. And
Well, that
I
was
was
like
in the back of that line.
That was like the very first time it opened, right? I mean, not too long.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, more people to do it, they're just going to, they know where the exit is, so they're going to stay to the right. I mean,
all right, now that you've mentioned that, I'm going to have to make it a point at some, to time it now that they're going to start doing standby. I'm going to do one time right there on the far right and one time on the far left.
Okay, it's going to be a much bigger difference. Because, my son and I, for example, it was just me and my oldest, so, because nobody else wants to ride it. So,
Nobody?
Yeah. So we did sort of challenge mode and ran we were the first ones out. And because we were early boarding group, we ran straight to the loading area. There was nobody. So that's the best part of early morning. Once you finally get out of that pre-show.
Which section did you get? Because I know we talked about front, middle, and back, I think.
We were front this time. Actually, very front row.
Let's get to the news. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did this backwards from what we normally do. News usually goes first.
Well, we're going to do the news, and then I'll do a quick preview later about my upcoming trip.
Yeah. Been a big one.
Yeah, I do. Let's start with a little bit of news. A lot of people are really excited about this first news, and they see it as a sign that Chapek era is over and incoming, the creatives are back. Bruce Vaughn is returning to lead Walt Disney Imagineering, co-lead, I think is sort of how you would put it.
Okay.
But we have
this is a big one.
Some people coming back. They're restructuring Imagineering, and the creatives are back in charge. Are we going to see any other returning Imagineers, perhaps?
You mean like Jitterody? Not likely.
Yeah, I wonder. I would love it if he came back, though. That'd be awesome. I thought about that, too, because a lot of the news articles posted that picture with Joe Rohde in it. I'm like...
Yeah, because they were trying to get clicks, so...
Yeah, that's true. But it sounds like he had maybe beef with Chapek, because he was there until 2016, and isn't that around the time Chapek became the parks chairman?
He became the parks chairman? Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm trying to remember when that happened, but yeah. I'm just glad he's back. I think that's cool. Just a good sign. It feels like this is a Iger move of let's bring back the creativity back in Imagineering and revitalize it.
Yep.
I don't know if this will be enough to really move the stock price on the needle. I think so much has happened that they're really wanting to see something tangible before.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But this is a good move
tangible.
Strategically, I think.
Maybe. I mean, it's very volatile right now. What Disney? I mean, they're in a position where they really need to have a home run here soon.
Yeah.
So,
big time.
Yeah.
But this is a good move. I think this is definitely a great move. And a lot of people are like Jason said, a lot of fans are like this. They're making some good decisions finally.
So I mean, it's one of those things that I'll say it's a step in the right direction, but
yeah,
where do we go from here? I mean, I got to start seeing something tangible. You know what I mean?
It's the tip of the iceberg.
That's another one of those teasers, right? There might as well be blue sky. It's below the ocean.
Segue.
Yeah, segue to Josh D'Amaro saying that Tron is just the tip of the iceberg of what's coming. Just the tip of what's coming.
Right.
Do we believe
him? Saying, I feel like all these promises need to start delivering.
I mean, if it takes them as long as it does to build Tron to build something else, I haven't seen shovels hit the ground on anything. So,
barring a natural disaster or something like that, I would hope they would get back on track to things being more timely. Hopefully,
I don't know.
Do you think that they've greenlit more stuff that he didn't announce at D23 since they're, Iger in the earnings call was like, the parks we got to expand the parks to, invest in and all that stuff, even though they seem to cut the budget. But
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where they're saying all the right things, but eventually the proof's going to need to be produced.
They will get that Mary Poppins carousel or whatever they were going to build.
Yeah, it's probably, they're hoping nobody brings that up ever again.
that's what maybe the play pavilion will be resurrected.
But wouldn't the Mary Poppins carousel be a people eater? That's what you wanted, right, Jim?
That's true.
No,
Not a e-ticket.
That wouldn't be as much of a people eater, I don't think. They need something that's like a good theater show. Maybe they should consider that. Maybe they should consider revamping one of the 3D shows.
They need a version of the People Mover in every park.
I mean, I know that 3D theaters are kind of a thing of the past, but think about it. If they came up with a good product that they could do that with, that would eat a lot of people, right?
Yeah, we talked about this last week, didn't we? And since you were here, Jason, I sort of mentioned that Hollywood Studios needs like that kind of thing. Yeah. What is the most relaxing ride at Hollywood Studios, Jason? What do you?
Oh yeah, which apparently ChatGPT agreed with us. So.
Well, obviously, it's when you ride Roanoke Railway and it doesn't go off the tracks. It is a very relaxing ride through the park.
When Mickey doesn't hit that track switch.
You never got that version?
Don't you mean that track switch?
Is that the B mode version? Yeah.
Let's see. The most relaxing. I mean, we had talked about this before the show, and I had thrown out Tower as a potential because of, I think, what y'all had talked about. But
right, that's the closest thing,
except for the dropping part.
Yeah.
Even that though can be.
Yeah. Apparently, the feeling of weightlessness is oddly relaxing.
I find it that way.
I think Mickey and Minnie's might be more relaxing. I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very relaxing whenever you get Congo. You get shaken back and forth.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, but it's fun, but is it relaxing? It's like, imagine
Sleeping Dog's pretty relaxing, too.
Kind of. I thought about that, too. I mean, that's kind of the closest I came was...
I don't know. I'm sticking by Tower.
All right. So, as we're on that same theme, by the way, one of the reasons people are asking if Joe Rohde was coming back is because, as we talked about with the return of Bruce Vaughan, right? And we also were talking about the blue sky and the tip of the iceberg. D23 also came out with more about Avatar at Disneyland.
Yeah.
While details on the coming Avatar experience remain under wraps, it promises to be as amazing as those found at Walt Disney World Resort. If you've had a chance to experience Pandora, the world of Avatar at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park, you have a pretty good idea of what Imaginers are capable of, said Disney CEO Robert A. Iger when he announced the plans on February 8th. Then, Cameron, director of the Avatar films and founder of CEO Lightstorm Entertainment, added that the immersive parks experiences dovetail with the movie's themes. So it's basically saying that it's going to be better than you think. And, if they're looking for someone that knows how to build a good Pandora land...
Look no further than Mr. Rohde.
Yeah. Can they just buy Virgin at this point,
Right.
Where he's working, just to acqui-hire him back?
I'm sure they could get him back, though.
I'm never going to say never when it comes to this stuff, but I think a combination of factors with Joe, his age being one of them, I think... he's probably done with Disney at this point. Like I said, I'm never going to say never, but I think he's probably done with Disney at this point. I know he said he was about fixing the Yeti, but let's be honest, that's probably never going to happen, unfortunately.
Maybe that's a stipulation of if he comes back. If you hire me back, you got to fix the Yeti.
Right, yeah. Maybe he could use that as leverage, right?
Yeah.
I think I shared a video not too long ago about an Avatar experience that's abroad. I forgot where it was exactly. I shared a video with you guys about could this be what's coming to Disneyland, because they might be using something that's already... It would definitely be cheaper for Disney if they use something that already exists and is a good experience to bring there, which that looked very impressive. I would go to see that.
Where would they put this? At Disneyland at the launch bay? In Tomorrowland? That doesn't sound right.
They have the problem of size to do a reverse quote of Walt Disney. Yeah. In California.
Somewhere at DCA they could throw it in, but San Francisco / Pandora? Aren't they?
Yeah.
Where do they put it?
Out there, is there anything that they can. I mean, there's really no more land to acquire, is there?
Cars Land. They should put it in Cars Land.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
Next to Mater's.
Makes perfect sense.
Jamboree.
Yeah,
That
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's like where I'm trying to think of where they would put it.
Right next to Galaxy's Edge.
But that's gonna Critter Country. They're gonna put it in Critter Country.
Yeah.
If they announce where they're gonna put it, it'll tell you what kind of attraction it's gonna be. Is it gonna be a long-term thing, short-term thing? You know. The only thing I could think of is where the launch bay is, like the Gold Carousel Theater, right? That's not really being utilized. That's all I can think of. But that's Tomorrowland. Does that fit? I mean, does it fit? Maybe. I don't know.
Does it even matter anymore?
Toontown?
Toontown, that's the perfect spot, I think.
I mean, when you have a land that you can see the backstage areas of it from the road, I mean, does it really even matter where they put it anymore?
Yeah, I guess the theming doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Put it in the Mickey and Friends parking structure? I don't know.
Of course, I don't know how that is in Disneyland. Can you see Galaxy's Edge from? I'm sure you can see it from somewhere. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, on to the next story, just so we can breeze through a few things. Speaking of breeze, and I don't know if we've mentioned this before, there's apparently a new discount airway that flies a direct flight every day between Orlando and Orange County's John Wayne Airport. So it's the Disney World to Disneyland flight, and you can fly it for as little as $69 each way.
It's pretty good.
Assuming you don't check a bag or have a carry-on or...
The bag is, carry-on's $35.
So don't take anything with you and you'll be fine.
But it is the Coast-to-Coast Challenge's dream, right?
Could be, yeah. I was just thinking when you said that, I was like, could you be like, what was it when Joey wore all of Chandler's clothes that time? Maybe you could just put them all on.
Yeah,
I can get on the plane. That'd be your way of keeping all your clothes with you. Could I be wearing any rations?
If I remember right, the seat, like the cheapest seat is like a, tiny seat. And
yeah,
I think most people I saw had it was like a $200 or so. But still, it's not a terrible, that's a great price to go coast to coast. So,
right.
That actually gives me a pretty good idea. I can actually totally wear about 5 layers of clothes and they would never say anything about luggage, right?
You should totally do that on a coast-to-coast flight where you're going to be hot AF.
You'll sweat through everything.
Anyways, I just thought that was interesting. See that is out there. And, maybe we should use that at some point.
Would you ever fly that? I mean, it's only Orlando to...
I think if I was ever doing a coast-to-coast challenge, or maybe I wanted to do, if you wanted to do a week at both, where you sort of do 3 or 4 days at Disney World and 3 or 4 days at Disneyland.
Yeah, it's probably the most economical option, right?
Yeah. Or you could be like Nathan Firesheets right now, who's out running the course. As we're recording this, he just completed his first day of his 12-day journey to ride every ride at all 12 Disney parks in 12 days. And he started at Disneyland Paris. So he's off to a good start. We'll see how he is next week. See how he's still doing a week from today.
Yeah, that's a lot of travel time.
It is.
I don't know if I'd want to attempt that. It's fun to see someone do it, but I don't know that I would want to do it.
It'd be fun to visit all 12 in 12 days. I don't know about trying to ride everything either, but
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, it'd be fun just to be able to visit all 12 period, but
it is kind of rushed though. Obviously, yeah. I haven't, been to
if I'm going to go to a park abroad, I would like to spend as much time as I possibly could with each one, just because it's probably the only time I'm ever going to get to do it.
So it'll be interesting, the logistics, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck to him. Hopefully
lots of luck.
I hope that he continues to complete parks, because I don't want him to sort of lose early on and it sort of take the wind out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it'll still be fun to see pictures from every park and how.
Yeah. I want to see what he's going to put together when this is all said and done, because he has a channel that he advertises on, apparently, you put on YouTube. So,
yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what kind of footage and stuff he compiles and puts together from this. That'll be fun to watch. That'll be a while before we see that, though, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's definitely going to take some time for him to put that together.
Yeah, he probably needs a few days to sleep when he gets back, too. That's what I would think.
Next story up for grabs. Yeah. Disney has made a statement, by the way, about the fact that the Star Cruiser is now going to only 2 experiences per week beginning in October. I wanted to read what they said. When the voyage calendar is live, you may notice the schedule has been modified to provide 2 voyages per week, except for holiday weeks where we may have 3 voyages. We've been learning a lot during our first year of operation and have adjusted voyage dates to meet the needs of our guests.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot that nobody wants to do this.
Well, I think I put in the messenger when I said the interpretation of that was, but I'll do the somewhat clean version. We're losing money on this experience, so we're going to cut the number of dates.
Right. I wonder what it takes to break even.
Are they ever going to break even on this experience the way it currently is? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I just, like, for a regular cruise, it's got to be, you probably fill half the ship and you're still making money, right? Probably. But
depends on how much booze they sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. How many of those cooler bags they sell.
I'll be interested to see to what degree, just how well the ones that they sell, even with the number of dates reduced, how much of those sell out. And sellout is important because they don't really have a ton of cabins to begin with, right? I mean, like it's a very low capacity experience as it is, and to not sell out is not good.
They have 100 rooms, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's something ridiculously low. Yeah.
And wouldn't you think, and they still haven't discounted, is my point. I mean, they've done some for cast members and what, was it DVC Deluxe? Well, some weird discount
recently.
Yeah.
The recent discount is you get a discount on a room stay if you do it right before or after.
Yeah. Right. Which isn't a great discount.
So if you already spend a significant amount of money, you get a discount on this already overpriced experience.
Yes. But my point is, if you get people on the ship, like lower the price, give them a 25% discount, whatever, they're going to spend money on the ship more than likely by buying drinks, food, or food upgrades, or whatever. I mean, some other form. I mean, why don't they do more of these microtransactions on the ship and lower the price, lower the entry?
Because you're doing all the story stuff. It's, immersive.
Yeah. I don't know. Charge for the lightsaber thing. Anyway.
All of these things are stuff that they are trying to implement before they get to where they're ultimately heading, which is lowering the price of the experience or changing the experience. One of the two, or both.
But they've already come to the, we're lowering the number so we don't have to pay these performers as much. So it's like...
Right. That's kind of what that interprets as. So they don't have to spend as much money per week or whatever.
Why not try the discount route, 25%, like they do the hotels?
They will do absolutely everything they possibly can before they permanently lower the price of anything, because they've never done that before.
Yeah, I don't get that.
They will do all other strategies first. Everything will have to fail.
Yeah. I feel like if you get them in the experience, they'll want to spend money. So, I don't know, give them the more things to do that would cost extra money.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think the experience itself, from what I've seen anyway, is bad. I just think that they have overshot with what they think the audience is willing to pay for this particular experience.
Yeah.
I think the average, even Star Wars fan, the value is not that great.
I mean, here's the other thing. We did a cruise, my first Disney cruise was a 3-night cruise, and it was short, but we didn't pay half of what it would have cost for the Star Cruiser.
And you actually went somewhere.
Right. And I actually was like, this is a good value, even though it was a short cruise. I'm like, I felt like I got my money's worth. It was good.
Mm-hmm. And Disney's traditionally more expensive out the gate anyway than a lot of other ones.
But if you doubled the price and shortened the cruise by a day, I would have been like, this is not worth it.
Right.
Even if I went to Castaway Cay.
So basically what you're saying, if you had doubled the price, shortened it by a day, and then just stayed in the harbor or stayed at the dock, you pretty much...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you drove me to Hollywood Studios for half a day, and then drove me back to Port Canaveral.
Right. I mean,
With not,
I totally get what they were trying to create with this. It's just not working.
yeah, they're
going to have to re-strategize.
Right. It just isn't the same.
And just like we said last week, it's pretty obvious. Just the fact that, gosh, what's his name? The Mandalorian. What can't I think of his real name or what his actual given name? No, not the actor. Jaren, right? Din Djarin, is that what his name is?
Dan, yeah.
He and Grogu. The fact that they're just showing up in Galaxy's Edge is the clear sign that the timeline is.
Yeah.
It's just they don't even care about that.
Which I didn't see him the day I was there. I looked around.
Or they're hoping nobody remembers that.
And I never saw him.
Really?
It wasn't crowded either. I'm like, where is he? But anyway.
Maybe that's why it wasn't crowded where you were. He was elsewhere.
Well, I missed him because I circled the thing like 3 times. My whole family was like, why do we keep walking around? I'm like, I'm looking for Grogu.
They've really abandoned the timeline. He was over in Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
So do you think he'll only come out on the days they don't have a cruise then?
Interesting. You say that. That might be a good point.
It's a good question.
That's what they're trying for now, just hold on to the whole timeline thing.
Yeah. And we will be right back.
Calling all parents. Meet the Family Cash Card, Greenlight's newest credit card for parents. You can earn up to 3% cash back on every dollar spent. No limits, no categories, no hassle. No kidding. You can choose to auto-invest your cash back to pay for your kids' college. Apply it to your balance, or send your cash back straight to your wallet. It's basically cash back your way, every day. Get started today at greenlight.com.
And now back to the show.
All right. Well, let's talk about something that's really exciting for me.
Okay.
They started taking up some of the 50th anniversary decorations. It's going away.
Yeah.
Finally.
The heavens.
52, right in time for the 52nd anniversary. Anyway.
Not because we're happy that the 50th anniversary is over. It just was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, there was not like, okay, we're getting close to the end. I'll go there.
We should recap it.
Yeah, what was the best thing about the 50th? I think we'll be unanimous on this one. But the best thing they did for the 50th.
Thing,
character statues?
No.
I think the best thing that they... Huh?
Oh, the light.
Oh, the beacon. Yeah.
The beacon of magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say another one that was, I thought was good, but now I was a little surprised when they were doing away with it was, oh gosh, what was the name of the show that took place of Illuminations now? What was it called?
Harmonious?
Yes, Harmonious. I don't know why that was escaping me. I must be getting old. Harmonious. I mean, I actually thought Harmonious was good.
It has a great soundtrack. I love the soundtrack.
It's really good.
I think people didn't like that it was so position dependent.
You have to be right.
And they didn't like the
pyrotechnic light.
Yeah. They didn't like having to see it during the day inactive. That was the other issue.
Also, like the show from the side, you can't see the water screen at all.
Yeah, it was very dependent upon positioning. Yes.
Yeah, you had to be in the
unlike
pavilion or right in the gateway.
Yeah, because with Illuminations, you could really get the same experience out of the show from just about anywhere. Yeah, just about anywhere.
It was fantastic.
I like the song. I like the music though. I like a lot of the remixes they did for Harmonious. Now,
music's great.
If I thought it was going to be going away so soon, I probably would have watched it more. But I really thought I had more time. It didn't give any indication.
I probably get to see it one more time.
Is it April 3rd still, or?
Because I get there on the 1st.
Okay, so you have one opportunity to
at least say goodbye to it.
Yeah, I'm going to get to be there. I'm going to try to make it to opening night of Happily Ever After, which we saw they were testing, and supposedly, based on what we saw, they aren't changing anything about it.
And that would be the best decision they've ever made, because changing that show was so dumb. I mean, they should add new stuff, though. Or, I mean, to me, they should at least add a few new songs.
I'm guessing they're going to add some projection mapping to the to Main Street.
Yeah, they did say that, I felt like, but They need like Encanto and some.
Well, I was about to say, I'm just a little bit surprised they wouldn't include the Frozen 2 section, or maybe
they should.
Some of the films that came along since then. I'm a little surprised they wouldn't do that, but maybe they didn't have time to, and maybe economically, just bringing the show back in as original makes the most sense to start with. So,
if they bring back Robin Williams singing "Friend Like Me," that's all. My eyes will get sweaty.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be. I don't know how I'm gonna manage this. I'm gonna probably have to see it multiple times when I'm down there because I have to see it opening night. I'll need to go see it from the Top of the World Lounge or whatever it's called now. I'm gonna have to go see it.
Yeah, the Villain's Lair or whatever they call it.
The Villain's Lair.
Is that what it's called?
Do they have a dessert party?
I don't know. I should see if I could get a dessert party. I bet this sold out by now.
Yeah, it would be for the opening night for sure. Probably
opening week. Yeah.
If they're smart, that's what they would try to make money on. They should do a dessert party every night. Maybe you'll get a cancellation. You can jump in there.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that being over.
Yeah, the 50th. Agreed. Yeah. Are they going to do anything to the castle? That's the question.
So much potential, but ultimately,
I hope they take at least the 50 off the castle.
Right.
Streamers.
Are they going to keep the pink and the... I think they'll probably keep the pink for a while.
The paint job will probably remain.
Yeah, I think it would stay for a while.
Yeah, probably, although I like the old paint job better. But,
Yeah.
Anyways, the last story before we jump into my trip preview and in this show is that the Reedy Creek Improvement District's board met for the first time, or the new version of it, of the Ron DeSantis sycophants, got together and decided to talk about Disney World. And Josh tomorrow made a statement saying the Reedy Creek Improvement District created and maintained the highest standards for the infrastructure for the Walt Disney Resort. We are hopeful that the new Central Florida Tourism Oversight District will continue this excellent work, and the new board will share our commitment to helping the local economy continue to flourish and support the ongoing growth of the resort and Florida's tourism industry. So sucking up to them as they start. Pretty uneventful first meeting. I think the fire department came out in support, saying that they were not getting adequate funding under Jay McGarrett. So,
and they, an interesting point. They said they don't have any water rescue boats. If you need a water rescue,
oops,
yeah,
interesting.
They'll just pull the friendship boats up.
I guess, yeah.
But the other thing that I was interesting about with the firemen said, or fire chief, whatever said, was in recent years things have gone downhill. I'm like, this sounds like another Chapek thing where he neglected, funding for stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, but Chapek was only in charge for how long?
I the last couple of years, and that's what I'm saying. But he was Parks chairman during that time before CEO, and that would have fallen under his jurisdiction, I would think. But anyway. Just says Chapek all around was just bad. Anyway, moving on.
They didn't really say much because they didn't have all the processes and procedures, although I will say that two of the items that made it up for discussion, someone brought up, Bridget Ziegler brought up a ban on vaccine mandates, and Brian Ongst brought up police contracts. So you can just tell we're already getting
police contracts. Do they have a police jurisdiction there? I've never seen.
Yeah, or maybe they are saying they want to add a police force to the district.
I've never seen a police force for that district.
It's always been Orange County police when you see them.
That's the ones I've seen.
Or Disney security, but not a police force for Reedy Creek. So I don't know.
Anyways.
Maybe they're trying to establish one. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I don't know.
These are all small opening steps to whatever. I don't really like the fact that oversight is in the name. I think that's very brash.
Oh, well, that was intentional, of course.
Yeah.
I just don't like that.
Yeah, of course it's
watching you. We're looking over you.
Yeah, DeSantis is practically gloating about the fact that he's punishing them for,
Yeah.
What an idiot.
So what would be the acronym for this? CTOD? What is it? What's the name again? Central
Central Florida. Yeah. CFTOD.
CF Toad.
It rolls
CF
off the
Toad.
tongue. Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it's named CF Toad. It's supposed to remind us of
Mr. Toad.
Toad Manor, and because it's like going through hell. So
Okay.
Right. They hinted, though, at some big changes, but they didn't announce anything, so whatever that means.
yeah, we'll get to that whenever that happens. But that wraps the news. Let's do a little bit of a preview. We're recording this on Wednesday, the 8th of March. And on Friday, the 10th of March, I will be departing for Paris, France for a trip. On the day that this show comes out on the 13th of March.
Yeah, you're going to just miss Fire Sheets.
I know.
Yeah,
On
you'll
the
be passing each other.
13th of March, I will be at Disneyland Paris the day that this show comes out. So if you're listening to this when the show comes out,
Instagram?
yeah,
Twitter.
check out our Instagram or Twitter, or see what I'm up to. So I have a one-day ticket to Disneyland Paris, and I'll talk a little bit about the fact that originally, up until a few days ago, we were going to go on Tuesday, and we needed a change because apparently Versailles is closed on Mondays or something, so we would switch the days.
You had this way. That makes sense.
And I couldn't figure out how to change it, so I called Disneyland Paris, which ended up costing me money anyway. I had to add international calling directly, but
Yeah.
I called them first, and I got the French one, and I had no idea what they were saying. So I ended up picking a different phone number to try. Turns out the help for Disneyland Paris is closed on Sundays and also only works like 8:30 to 5 Paris time.
That's very European sounding, yeah.
Yeah, like you can't get help outside of,
Yeah.
And I call them up. I wait for a while. Eventually, I get a cast member who tells me to go to the website and cancel my booking and then book a different one.
Oh, wow.
So once I figured out how to do that, I did. But we are now booked a one-day park hopper ticket plus the Premier Access Plus, which there's the option to buy up to 2 or 3 individuals. And we talked about this on a prior show, but this gives me access to all of the ones that have the Premier Access once without a return time. I can go whenever I want and hop into.
Get in the fast
Get
pass
the
or
line.
lightning lane, whatever they call it there.
Now, I talked to Fire Sheets on Twitter, and he's saying that right now it's so dead over there, it's probably not worth it. But it's my one time, so whatever.
Right.
Let's use it.
It'll save you a few minutes either way, right? Most likely.
Yeah. There's also a strike going on in Paris Transit, so I may have trouble getting to the park. I may be getting a taxi from Paris City Center because the train out there is not running.
Oh, interesting.
Or at least it isn't as of the time of this recording.
Oh,
At least it's not. Yeah. So this could be a problem. Now, hopefully we're able to get up early. I would love to get the family there at Rome. But just to give you an idea of the party we have a 70-year-old woman, and as the higher end, my mother. Sorry, Mom, I told your age, but that's why we're celebrating. And the youngest will be my son, who is 8 years old. So a pretty wide range of folks. Yeah. My sister will also be there, and her daughter, as well as myself. So a party of 5.
Okay.
We're going to try to do both as much as possible. However, as I'm looking, I'm going to miss out on quite a few things because I'm going during refurbishment season.
Yeah.
So let's go through a list of what's not open. Yeah. The biggest one I am upset about: Big Thunder Mountain closed.
Oh man, yeah, that sucks.
Adam, is there Big Thunder in comparison to others that you get to run?
I think it's
really good.
I think it's the best one because you go under the Rivers of America and the ride is basically on Tom Sawyer Island, if you will.
Okay.
They don't have a Tom Sawyer Island, but it's cool.
Whatever that island is.
It's unique.
The Pirate Galleon is closed, whatever that is.
Is that?
I guess that's the pirate mode.
Yeah, I think you can walk on the show, which we did do. It was fun.
Dumbo is closed.
Ew.
It's really a whole lot different.
You've done one, you've done them all.
Yeah.
Les Voyages de Pinocchio is closed.
Probably the same or close to the same.
And It's a Small World is closed.
Oh man, theirs is good too.
And Les Mystères du Nautilus.
Oh, so you can't go on the... Oh, well.
That looked cool.
Over at Walt Disney Studios Park, there is one ride closed, a little sad about, Crush's Coaster.
Oh, man. That would have been a good one to do.
Because that's one of the premier access ones, right? You could have just walked on that. And it's always got a long line.
No, I do get to do the Avengers Campus, the Web Adventure, the Flight Force.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool.
How tall is 1.2 meters?
1.2 meters?
So it's just under 4 feet. Okay. Because that's the height requirement for that ride. 1.2 meters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I didn't hear when you, I assumed you already got the Disneyland Paris side before you switched over to the studios. So you will actually get the opportunity to do Phantom Manor. That's like the main reason for going to Disneyland Paris.
Yes. Because that one was under refurb when I went, so I didn't get to do it.
Yeah. That was a big disappointment for you.
I'm sad about Big Thunder, though. I think that's the one I'm most upset about because that looks really cool.
It is. Well, at least you'll see it, though. I mean, you can always go back.
But isn't their version of Space Mountain cool? You'll get to do that.
It is. Their Space Mountain is really neat, but it's very intense.
Wow, I didn't realize this, but they have some higher height requirements here.
Yeah, a lot of their...
Space?
No, like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril is 1.4 meters. I don't think my son's going to be tall enough for that. That's like 4.5 feet.
Why is that one so high?
It's got this weird loop in it. That's why there's one inversion that's like super tight.
So, okay. Probably won't be doing that either.
I was going to say, of the stuff I've seen before that I would definitely need to do, you've already named a few, but I think it'd be really neat just going to the basement or the dungeon or whatever of the castle and seeing the dragon.
Oh, that is the best. Yeah, that's the best. It's awesome to see that. And the castle is probably the most beautiful of all the Disney castles, I would say.
Very well designed.
Yeah, very aesthetically pleasing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking. There's no real restaurants available for me to book, so it's just going to be quick service.
Really? There's no, like, the Walt's, whatever. I forgot the name of it. Is not open or available. Oh, okay.
It also looks like their California Grill is closed.
Oh, I didn't know they had one, actually. Where is that?
At Disneyland Hotel.
Ah, yeah, that's why. I did walk in there, but I couldn't. Yeah, nothing was available when I was there either. It's going to be cool, though.
Yeah. So we'll do that on Monday. We'll check that out. I'm excited. And as we get to later in March, I'll preview. Maybe you'll get to go. Maybe not, Adam. Get to preview. I have 8 nights booked at Disney World
8
to start.
nights. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have continued to try to modify what I get because I'm, trying to use my DVC points and money. I'll just tell you where we stand right now for those 8 nights. The first 2 nights, I've got a tower studio at Riviera. The next 2 nights, I have a deluxe studio preferred view at Riviera. I had the option today when I was looking to switch that to Beach Club, by the way, and I chose to stay at Riviera. And then for the last 4 nights, I'm going to be at Coronado Springs, currently in the Grand Destino Tower with a king bed standard.
Coronado Springs apparently is the hotel of choice for traveling with the mouse. We find ourselves there quite
I actually looked, and there was a pass holder rate for Yacht and Beach Club. And I looked at it, and I was like, do I really want to pay that much more for Yacht and Beach Club? And I'm like, I probably would like Coronado better. I like the cool bar better. I like the pool.
Agreed.
I like the 3 bridges. I like Dahlia Lounge. I would rather hang out on the grounds of Coronado. The only thing that Yacht Beach Club has is the location in the pool. Like the actual pool. Not the, it's...
I gotta be honest, adding those 3 bridges kind of adds to the appeal because it kind of cuts your distance a good bit on certain things.
And Adam, you ate at 3 bridges on your trip. I know we didn't get to everything on your trip, but maybe you could tell us a little bit about that before we close the show.
The server there highly recommended the burger. Said it was the best burger on property. And so, okay, we ordered it, and I think it is the best
really
burger on property.
We got it to go, but it was still very good.
Oh, it was, I was like, dang, this is actually a really good burger. Mm-hmm. So that was really good. The sangria flight, you get 4 pretty nice pours of sangria, 4 different types. That was good. And the appetite, everything was good. So I highly recommend
the sangria flight. So just since we didn't get there, again, Adam didn't really talk about it, but he live blogged it to us. I think you barely missed rope at Epcot and went nonstop. And I think you started drinking about whenever La Cava opened. And you had a couple of stops at La Cava. You had a couple of, you went to all of the Epcot. You went over to Magic Kingdom.
We did Flower and Garden.
You did Flower and Garden. You went over there and did Tron. And then you ended up at Three Bridges, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. And you're like, we might be doing too much. And you sent a picture of a sangria flight. And I'm like, and then the next day you're like, we're not going to make it to Rome. Everybody's tired. I'm like, well,
we had like a 15-hour day or something. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, I overdid.
You really tried to pack it in.
I mean, we had one day, so I really packed it in. I did, yeah. And then we ended at Brown Derby Lounge.
Was it worth it when it was all said and done?
To me, it was. I mean, the rest of
not everyone else
probably doesn't agree, but yeah, I would totally. Yeah, that was great. I had a great time. La Cava again, love it.
Oh yeah, are you going to care to elaborate on the lily? Was it as good as
really quickly? Yes. So I did the avocado the first time because that won the official poll, and then the lily got pretty far in our bracket, and so I was like, let me try it again. And it's been a while, and the presentation is fancy with the smoke and everything, but it's a really good drink. But I would still rank it number 3 on my list. Corn Old Fashioned, top shelf, and Lily's probably 3rd, I would say. That's my ranking. But it's great. It's a really good drink. So
there you go.
It's worth the splurge every now and then.
But you'd rather splurge on Dragones top shelf if you're going to go $20 plus on a drink.
Yeah, that one's what, 25? I think 24, 25. Yeah,
something like that. Cool.
Dare I ask how much you spent?
On what?
At La Cava.
Actually, you know what? I don't want to. We got a few things comped from our bill from there because, they know us pretty well, and it was nice.
He's well known at La Cava.
I guess so.
He is now, apparently.
Actually, I asked for his table over the Neil Patrick Harris table because I want the one with the AB in the initials carved in the table.
Yeah. How long is it going to be before you have that, Adam?
I know.
Just going to take a knife there.
Yeah, I'll carve my own name.
Have to secretly do it.
I'm going to bring my own little plaque with my initials on it and say, can you screw this onto this table for me? Thanks.
You just have to distract Barbus or whatever, into their Aiden script.
Yeah, exactly.
Barbus would help him screw it on the table.
Cover that in a soul. Yeah.
Anyways, I think that makes a show for us. That was a lot of content. I won't be here obviously next week unless we wait very late to record. But when I do come back, I will give a report on what I thought of Disneyland Paris. But until that time, you should check out for sure everything about us online because I will probably be posting. And where would that be?
Well, we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Instagram in particular, because he's going to be posting pictures most likely. That is all at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store, which you can get your exclusive TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast. We have a YouTube channel, which if you haven't gone and checked it out yet, we have a couple of older videos of Splash Mountain, which have actually gotten a good amount of views on them. So if you haven't seen them, you might enjoy that if you want to see that. And where else can you find that, Adam?
Our website, travelingwiththemouse.com. You can email us podcast at travelingwiththemouse.com. And if you want some assistance planning your next trip, you can use our travel agent friend. Her info is also on our website, travelingwiththemouse.com.
So for John and Adam, this is Jason. This has been Traveling with the Mouse. We hope you'll join us on your next trip.
I'm about to trip right now.
Right now.